Hello, welcome back to Asian Cinema Season. Today we have another special guest in A Touch of Film. He'll be talking to you about the Korean New Wave, which I know next to nothing about. So if you're the same as me, I'm sure you'll learn just as much as I will on what he has to say on the subject. Go check out his channel if you're interested in Asian movies in general, which if you're watching this video, you probably are. I'll leave a link to his channel at the end. You can go check it out, subscribe if you like the stuff he does. He very much bases his entire channel around Asian movies, and he sticks to what he loves, and his passion shows, and he always has interesting films I've never heard of to recommend and talk about in his videos. So here we go with A Touch of Film, talking about the Korean New Wave.
Hi guys, I'm doing this video for Luke from RazorwireReviews. He asked me to do a video on Asian cinema, part of his season. So he messaged me, he asked me, feel free to do whatever you want to do. So for me, I decided to do a video on the Korean New Wave. The Korean New Wave, if you've never really heard of it, really started around the mid-90s and went on through to the 2000s. It's sort of, it was the second New Wave during like the early 60s. Korean cinema was really starting to come up. After like the 90s, there was a fall of Park Chang-has. He was the president at the time. He was a bit of a dictator, so there was a lot of censorship going on in Korean cinema. But after his fall, there was more liberalism, more investment in the arts. So this led on to more money being invested into cinema and into filmmaking, and this was really with more cinema coming in from the US, more influence from Western cinema, allowed more artists and directors to come up with movies from Korea. One movie that really kicked it off was a film called Shiri, directed by Kang Jae-gyu. He created this spy film. It was a big blockbuster, really inspired by movies from Hong Kong and directors like Ringo Lam and John Woo. It was a spy movie about two spies hunting an assassin. Whilst it was a good film, it really led on to more movies coming out. One in particular, which gave rise to another great director, Park Chan-wook. It was JSA. This was really about the demilitarized zone. An incident occurs in the joint security area between two North Korean soldiers and two South Korean soldiers, and it's sort of an investigation occurs from this incident. This movie was absolutely superb, with great performances by Lee Byung-hun and Song Kang-ho. Song Kang-ho being one of the biggest actors in Korea, and Lee Byung-hun, who's now massive in the West, doing films in the US as well. Another great movie was Seat of Violence, directed by Ryo Sung-won. He done a lot of action movies. Seat of Violence, in fact, was the first Korean movie I ever saw. Story of a group of friends reunited after one of their childhood mates was murdered by a gang of hoodlums, and one of them is trying to find out what's going on. And the movie's just absolutely fantastic. Some great action scenes in there, and great martial arts, which you don't really see a lot in Korean cinema. You do see the odd taekwondo, because it is taught to young people a lot. Another one is A Bittersweet Life, directed by Kim Ji-woon, another great director who's just had his breakout internationally. You may have heard of The Good, the Bad and the Weird. Age of Shadows is another one, and he also directed an Arnie film quite recently. But A Bittersweet Life is a great gangster movie. It was also named in Empire's best gangster movies that you've never seen, and it came 5th in that list. So yeah, it's a great movie. Lee Byung-hun plays an underboss who is employed by his boss to look after his girlfriend while he's away on business. And yeah, a really great story, something that we've seen so many times but brilliantly told. And Kim Ji-woon is just a great director, and he you really see a young, like, great Kim Ji-woon movie and how he's really progressed since then. Another great movie, one of the best, is Memories of Murder, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Now, Bong Joon-ho again has gone on to do great movies. Memories of Murder is based on true events of a serial killer in a small town who was murdering women. A true story. Murder was never solved, and Bong Joon-ho has also gone on to do great movies in the West with Okja, Snowpiercer, so non-Korean speaking movies. But he's also done other great movies like Mother, which have really gone really big, as well as The Host. So yeah, he's a real prime example of great Korean directors that have made it big. Talking about directors that have made it big, Park Chan-wook, who I mentioned before from JSA, he made a trilogy of films that most people have seen, even if you're not into Asian cinema. The Vengeance Trilogy was Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, which was the first in this trilogy. A story of a man played by Song Kang-ho is after the kidnappers of his daughter. That is a great movie. The second one, which really blew up Korean cinema, was Old Boy. Most people have seen that. Starring Choi Min-sik. Great cinematography in that movie, and a very original story of a man out for vengeance after being imprisoned in a hotel room for 20 odd years. That was just a great movie, and it really led to a lot of people getting into Asian cinema as well as Korean cinema, and with great standout performances by Choi Min-sik as well. And the final in that trilogy was Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, which was another revenge film about a woman comes out of prison and is out for justice. Yeah, that's another great movie. And I'd also like to finally mention another movie by another director who's not directed a lot of films, but what he has directed has been like masterpieces. Directed by Na Hong-jin is The Chaser. Chaser is a great crime movie about an ex-police officer who's now become a pimp and is in search of one of his prostitutes that has gone missing and has been kidnapped by a serial killer played by Ha Jung-woo. Ha Jung-woo is a great actor. He's been in movies such as The Handmaiden, The Tunnel, Assassination. These great Korean movies which are really making it into the West. Ha Jung-woo is a great talent, and I'd like to see him in more Western movies. But yet, The Chaser is phenomenal, and Na Hong-jin is just one of the best directors. He's made The Wailing, which was my movie of the year for 2016. That is available on DVD in the UK and Blu-ray in the US. I highly recommend that movie. But The Chaser was a movie that really made him big. And guys, if you can get hold of that, I really recommend it. I think it is available on Amazon Prime. So if you're a Prime subscriber, I highly recommend that movie. So yeah, guys, this is my introduction to Korean New Wave. I've named some great movies there that, if you're open to try Korean cinema, those are movies that are easily accessible. They're not real art house movies, but they are great for movie lovers who are into Western cinema that want to get into Asian cinema, and they are great movies. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks to Luke for having me on his channel, and see you soon, guys. Take it easy.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.